to hear my voice. Right, so yeah, my projector is slowly dying on me. So the big spot that's developing, the big black dot that's developing, slowly getting into these comments that I have to read, bruh. So I might have to position them in a weird way. You know what I'm saying? I might resemble somebody who cannot read, you know, as a result. It's because, you know, I have to position it in a unique way so that I can see the whole comment before reading it, right? So please excuse that. Now, first one, we Africans are the only people who can expose our own history. Facts. That's why I was like, yo, in the intro, I was like, hey, let's try, you know what I'm saying? Let's try and debunk some, maybe, some talking points or some points that were trying to be made that that may have the wrong context or may have misinformation or may misguide people about Africa. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Africa has been like super disregarded, you know what I'm saying, as per history. You know what I'm saying? But then again, I did share the fact that, yo, it's because we were just like, you know, snaked into not believing in our own value no more, bro. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? To a point where we have allowed the influence of the rest of the world to just come into Africa and just like let that be the fabric of how we understand even ourselves, bruh. You know what I'm saying? We've been so westernized, you feel me? Well, a majority of the world has been so westernized, but it's to a point where within the African context, bro, a whole lot of African values have been pushed out the way by Africans. You understand what I'm saying? And so therefore I feel like Africans who care about perception of Africans, you know what I'm saying, within the context, bro, it's like, yes, we gotta, you know, because we live here, like, forget general or media propaganda, it's like we live here, like an African person can tell you like what's accurate, because, you know, we live in a world of false information, false, you know what I'm saying, this and that and the third. People, you know, who want you to know their own agendas might just like omit certain, you feel me, information about like critical stuff, bro, critical details, you know what I'm saying? So yes, I do agree with the fact that Africans are the only people who can expose African history. Yeah, getting there though. I feel like truly Africa's true history is a vast erased timeline of brilliant empires, scientific genius, and sophisticated societies that rivals any on earth. Damn, I was thinking about, I forgot my point. What, just like that? Oh yeah, no. I actually was expecting for more of the. Okay, look, the video was covering a whole bunch of, you know, ancient empires within Africa, how those were conquered, how those operated, you know what I'm saying, even pre-colonialism. Actually, this was a video that exposed Africa pre-colonialism, its setup, its structures, right? Empires, powerful, you know, yeah, civilizations in ancient Africa. I was, you know, I'm more directly theoretically speaking, biologically speaking, I'm more you know, directed, I'm more linked to southern Africa, you know what I'm saying, and the localized clans as per this video, you know, the localized clans where you got like little clan tribes, you know what I'm saying, that were not literally big as these empires like Kemet Empire, you know what I'm saying, the Kushites, whatever, the Canaanites, or any of that, but more of, you know, the clans that migrated southwards, you know what I'm saying, within the continent. So I was expecting more of that kind of history. He didn't, you know, they didn't break that down, you know, they didn't get there. It was just like the surface level. I'm hoping we get there in future videos, right? History store, you know what I'm saying? Because I can like kind of maybe come through with my own general, just lived experiential pointers, you know what I'm saying, to raise in terms of the energy of Africa out here, you know what I'm saying, yeah, further south type stuff, you know. What was hidden in the dark is now coming to light. Yes, and remember, Africa, I don't know if it's still considered the dark continent. Finally, okay, this is an African. Whoever wrote this comment. Finally, our story is being told. Far too long, the rich legacy of this great continent and deliberately suppressed. European explorers unwilling to accept the brilliance of the civilizations they encountered, dismissed them as primitive. Yep. As primitive, right? Wait, where am I? Even when they were far more advanced than their. Yeah, well, that's why they tried to steal. That's why they tried to steal their IP, you know, and systems and remix it with whatever they led people to believe they came up with, right? For centuries, they spun a narrative of European superiority and progress, convincing generations that their versions of history was the truth. But now the veil is lifting. We are discovering that much of what we were told was a lie. Okay? They can reprogram our minds, but history cannot be rewritten. The land remembers. Trees remember, the wind remembers. Everything that was once buried and forgotten is rising again. This is not just a rediscovery, it is the great awakening. Our ancestors' legacies cannot be, of course, bro. Like you think taking over like people that once lived, human beings that are just like you. So whatever fuels power to you, you don't think the same potential lived in them, or not even potential, the reality of such a power. You don't think their humanity also carried the same power that your humanity carries. Y'all all humans, dog. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore they have just much of a voice, maybe not just physically but spiritually as well as you have. You know what I'm saying? You probably prayed to some power, you know, higher power, higher whatever. You don't think they do the same thing? And now obviously now, you know, the ages has been a battle of, you know, those kind of spiritual formations or spiritual beings, you know what I'm saying, where the African spirit having been suppressed, you know what I'm saying, throughout history. Now it's like it proves that, you know, that same power that exists in you existed in them. God damn it, that's why, you know, their story is being told. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot of their truth is rising. You know what I mean? A whole lot of realities of their resources having been taken from them. You know what I'm saying? That truth is realized, and I feel like, you know, being at that point of reality, you can then change the story. You know who to boycott, bro. You know who to rebel against, and it has been, you know, these superior capitalists that have been running y'all countries, establishing businesses in y'all countries, right? You're supporting them by supporting their business in y'all countries. Especially, you know, I'm talking about foreign business that's conducted in your country. That's that whole system at play. You know what I'm saying? Then now at that point, okay, you'll know what to boycott. You'll know which businesses not to support, to end supporting in y'all country. That's how we can change the face of this thing, especially in Africa. But then now that would require the backbone of just like, okay, what are you trying to do then? Okay, you wanna, you know, because for such a long time, bro, like Africans have built a whole lot of momentum in, you know, trusting these foreign capitalist systems to just come and, you know, take over the system, take over the thinking of Africans out here. You know what I'm saying? There's so much momentum that's been built there that to undo all of that would need, yeah, a high level of just like innovation, creativity, initiation. The bone to initiate shit, you know what I'm saying? And understanding that shit must be rough before we get to our own utopia. A whole lot of hell is to be raised first before we receive that heaven, right? Type shit. So there's that too. I am African Canadian of Caribbean birth. I am a student of history, and I'm happy to finally learn about our true history. That's beautiful. Okay, African, Caribbean, and African Americans to band together and speak our own history, modern, present, past, and future. Let's make Africa better again. Yeah. I spoke about even just like the investment opportunities like Africa has to present. There's a whole lot of investment opportunities, like people Africa can present, bro. And I feel like that's also one way we can, Africa can, African people can just band together and come, and raise Africa again. It's like, come invest in Africa, but independently, but not just invest. Come be out here, come exist, come live, so that the more people are out here, the population grows, the economy has no choice but to grow, and therefore there's opportunity for investment there. You know what I'm saying? And the investments that happen there, for as long as they're not European like affiliated or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Maybe through brokerages or investing through this middleman who's a European. It's like that has to be killed as well. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of it's a whole bunch of transformation that still needs to happen. Leaning towards that, you know what I mean? 100% just awakening. The Western wait, what is this? The Western will not Oh, the West will not acknowledge us. Our inventions and innovations us feel small. Africans and Arabs are the cradle of science and mathematics. Let's take back our position. Right. Thank you for continuing to teach this rich history. As a black American, it's so fulfilling to learn about